There are 8 villains in 3 Madagascar movies. I will review all 8 of these villains from their backstory, personality, and abilities. I will be ranking them from worst to best on a tier list as it would make this series serve more of a purpose. S and A tier are great villains, B tier is a pretty good villain, C tier is meh/okay, and D tier is simply a villain I don't like. I won't be counting villains from the Penguins of Madagascar as that is a separate topic, and it is a spin-off series, meaning it has its own identity as a franchise. So let's look at all the villains from Madagascar. Nana. Nana is an elderly woman who is arguably the most famous villain in the franchise. She was seen in the Grand Central Station where she beat up Alex and his friends using a bag and pepper spray. She was taken by police as a witness. In the first film, her appearance is brief, but I find it interesting that she is highlighted as the only person who has the guts to confront the wild animals, while the rest run in fear. The fact that she beat the lion up shows us she is very brave in confronting. Her anger towards Alex in the first film isn't explained or looked at thoroughly. She is portrayed as somebody who seems to be quite unusually angry at the animals, and says this when kicking Alex in the groin. Maybe she has had prior bad experiences with animals, and them causing a public disturbance on the train station may have reminded her of some past trauma. She has impressive combat abilities. Nana can lift Alex and is quite old, so I don't understand how she's so strong and active even when she's quite old. I think that character trait alone is kind of contradicting, which is what the writers may have intended to portray her as. We see more of Nana in the second movie, where she is a part of a group of tourists viewing wildlife. She spots Alex and fights him, and she's also thrown out of a vehicle and hit with a car. Nana may have also been a Girl Scout at one point, as a famous line of hers references certain Girl Scout groups in America called Brownies. Despite her anger towards the animals, Nana is quite friendly and nurturing towards her group and even teaches them how to survive, build shelter, and bond with each other. She captures the lion and wants to make a lion casserole out of him.
How about a nice lion casserole?
So based on this line, we know that she likely does have prior experience engaging with wild animals. She does have great marksmanship skills as she was able to snipe a doll in the head at such a long distance from the helicopter to where she was at. At the end of the movie, she is taken by a barrel and kicks some other lion's ass because he has her purse. Overall, I think she is a pretty well written villain. She is very versatile and skilled, and she has great leadership skills. I wish her backstory was explored a bit more. I mean, the fact that she has this intense hatred towards wild animals and is very athletic for her age is something that would be interesting to explore more. Like, how does she develop this intense hatred for wild animals? And how is she so fit for her age? And how can she survive in the wild? A lot of questions that I think it would be really cool to explore a bit more if they make another Madagascar movie or something like that. I like that she is quite an ambiguous villain. Overall, she's going in S tier. The Fusas. The Fusas are a group of predatory beings that hunt together. We first see them interrupting a party and surrounding a little cutie named Mort. They put him in a bowl and season him like he's some 5-star meal, and I found this to be quite funny. They're just putting sprinkles on this guy before trying to eat him alive. Now Alex the lion's roar scares these animals off. Now these guys are very ruthless and predatory. They hunt in groups and prey on the vulnerable, as Mort is a very small chipmunk, and he was singled out likely because of how small he is. This kind of shows just how cowardly these animals are. I mean, they were scared of Alex the lion, and he is only one guy, but had no problem trying to kill a little chipmunk. Them not challenging Alex to a fight is kind of cowardly on their part, unlike Nana, who had the guts to straight up beat the crap out of the lion. Now we see them at the end of the movie as they chase Marty the zebra down and season him with a lemon. The animals thankfully save Marty by distracting them and hitting them with a wheel. Now there are so many of these animals, but they still get beat by Alex and the penguins. Come on, there are so many of these guys, yet they can't kill a bunch of tiny penguins. Honestly, these villains are not that interesting. I find their seasoning bit to be funny, but at the same time, they're such cowards. Like, why the hell are you ganging up only to go after some tiny little chipmunk? Like, I'd have more respect for these guys if they challenge Alex, but they just run away from him. Makes no sense. There are a million of these things and they're scared of one lion. Overall, they do serve a purpose in the story as they help King Julian recognize Alex as being a fierce animal, but at the same time, it just doesn't make sense that they would all be afraid of one lion. They do play a vital role in the plot of the movie, but they're rarely shown outside the end of the movie. I'm gonna place them at D tier. They're just kind of bland, and I don't like how they're all carbon copy paste of each other. I'm sorry, there isn't just much going for them, honestly. The Shark. The Shark is a minor antagonist in Madagascar 2. I mean, bro gets no screen time and gets burnt to a crisp chasing a lil ass chipmunk that he couldn't even bite. I mean, come on, that Finding Nemo shark would have fucking crushed this guy. The villain is very slow, unlike the other two villains, Nana and the Fusas, who are quite quick. I mean, this shark is just so comedically slow. It can jump pretty high and has sharp teeth, but its slowness holds it back. I think the chipmunk is very tiny and easy to attack, but Mort's speed outpaces the slowness of the shark. Mort returns to King Julian, but that shark is back to bite and it chases the little prick until it jumps off a cliff and burns to death in a volcano. I like how this villain is paired up against a tiny animal who is fast compared to a slow, brainless animal who spends a lot of time following him until it jumps off and burns away. I mean, it is just so goofy that you just can't take it seriously. I actually like this villain. I'm gonna give him B tier, especially the way it dies at the end. I mean, come on, it just jumped into a pool of lava and burnt. It's so ridiculous, I can't hate on it, honestly. I like it a lot. Makunga. Makunga is the antagonist of Madagascar 2. This is the movie where we see Alex's origin story explored a bit more. Makunga challenged Alex's father Zuba to fight to become the king of the jungle. He disrespects his son, calling him pathetic. I think he is trying to get Zuba to fight him by insulting his son. Makunga is immediately shown to be an arrogant, conceited villain, which can be symbolic characteristics of a lion, as he proclaims that he is better looking, smarter, and more fit to be the king of the jungle. Now the two lions fight, but baby Alex is sadly taken from his father, and I find it interesting that Makunga's arrogance and pride led to Alex disappearing. He's kind of the character that started the protagonist's adventure in New York in the first movie by indirectly causing his traumatic origin to occur, so it makes sense for him to be the main antagonist in the film. Now many years later, Alex is back in Madagascar and he is celebrated by his family. Makunga plans to use him to get rid of Zuba and become the new king of the jungle. He planned to manipulate and deceive Zuba into disowning his son to attain a high status in the jungle's hierarchy. He brings up the fact that Alex hasn't gone through the rite of passage, which is a process to attain status in the jungle, and he manipulates Alex into picking a much stronger lion than him, which gets him knocked out and humiliated in front of his father, who thought he was a competent lion. This gets Zuba to step down as the king, and Makunga becomes the new leader as he envisioned for many years. I find it interesting that he weaponized the family dynamic between Alex and Zuba to attain a prestigious position. He has a very snarky, passive-aggressive demeanor. He doesn't outright state his negative opinions about Alex, but kind of acts like a mentor to him and tries to lead him astray. He is very calculating and deceptive, and pretends to be a friendly person when in reality he has ulterior motives. Makunga acts as a wise individual who can guide Alex through the process when in reality he is using this to plot his demise. He succeeds in his ability to sever and cause friction between the father and son relationship in his quest to attain power. All of Makunga's villainous actions are outlined in the film when Alex is practicing his fighting skills. He states that Makunga set him up, humiliated his family, and stole his dad's job. In one scene, Makunga convinces Zuba to save his son, who has gone off the reserve to retrieve water that has been dried up. This may have been one of Makunga's villainous schemes, as maybe this is just a theory. He may have dried up all the water to get rid of Alex, and telling Zuba to go to the reserve may have been a plan to get rid of him. It seems that Makunga is a very deceptive villain who orchestrated various ploys to attain a leadership he desired for many years. Him simply not caring about the concerns and safety of the animals and potentially endangering many lives shows that he is a very selfish individual. His leadership skills were rather poor as shown in the movie. He was more interested in being seen as a king rather than actually helping those around him. After the waterhole is dried up, the animals tell Makunga that they want Zuba back as the leader. He tells Zuba that the waterhole has dried and they go to New York to take it back. And the animals fear that Zuba and Alex might get hunted down, but they end up bringing the water back, making all the animals happy again. Now they end up using Nana as a way to dethrone Makunga and scare him off for good. He even gets spanked. I mean, bro's cheeks are getting clapped there. I don't know what happens to him after the film. Maybe he got hunted or killed, I don't know. Overall, I think he is a pretty well written villain, but I would like to see some more abilities from him. He does have a good backstory and personality for a villain, but at the same time, I would like to see some cool abilities from Makunga that will make him stand out more. I'm gonna give him B tier. He's close to A tier, but sadly lacks notable abilities that would make him stand out. Tsetse. Tsetse is a minor villain in Madagascar 2. He is very strong and bulky. He is picked as an opponent for Alex's rite of passage, and the jungle is shocked, which tells you that Tsetse is likely one of the strongest lions out there. Before the fight, Tsetse's bones grow at very impressive speeds, and he has very sharp claws and can fly at high speeds. He is a very agile lion, which gets him to knock out his opponent and break the rock. Now Tsetse is thought to be Makunga's assistant, but I don't really buy that. I mean, he is much stronger and faster than that guy. I don't think he is an assistant, or I don't believe there is a power imbalance in their relationship. I think they're simply loyal friends because there is a massive power imbalance between the two. Overall, I do like this villain. He has great abilities and he is very strong. I mean, bro's got a nice ass physique and there ain't no gym in Africa. He is very nicely designed and I think his design fits his personality well. Maybe if he was shown more in the franchise and we get to see his interactions with Makunga more, then he might be higher, but he'll go in B tier. The tour guide. The tour guide is a character we don't really see much of. I mean, we don't even know the guy's name, but he is involved in the wildlife scene in Madagascar. He is considered an antagonist because he had some beef with the penguins who are protagonists, making him a villain I guess, as he's beefing with the main characters. Also, he is characterized as a villain on this villain wiki page, and his crimes include animal cruelty and attempted murder. He's got a cool Jamaican accent, and we see him in a notable scene where he hits the penguins with the cart. He does show care and appreciation for the penguins, but those little assholes are known to pull off schemes. He is the tour guide, so he does take leadership when the group is lost, but Nana takes over. He doesn't have much of a role in Madagascar too, he just says a few lines and that's pretty much it. We do see more of him in the 2013 Madagascar Valentine's Day special. So he parks his car and finds a doll on the ground. This is the doll that Skipper the penguin loves. He takes it and walks into a tent and finds the penguins, who blow the entire tent up. He escapes the blast, terrified by what just happened. The penguins hijack the guy's car and take the doll that the guy found. When he finds those penguins, he chases them with his car. Unfortunately, the car breaks apart when the penguins throw a bunch of toys at it, and he jumps out of the car, which explodes and runs back to the camp. I enjoyed the car chase between the tour guide and the penguin. I thought it was very climactic, action-packed, and overall fun to watch. I like the fact that this character survived 2 explosions. That tells me he has great situational awareness, and his accent is pretty cool too, but besides that, there isn't anything notable about this guy. He isn't an interesting character in my opinion, so I'm gonna give him C tier. The Poachers. The Poachers are minor villains, but play an instrumental role in the trajectory of the main character's life, Alex. In the second film, they track the young lion down by handing him a rope. Using the rope, they lure him out of his father's sight, pointing a gun at the little lion, grabbing him and putting him inside a box. They drive away and Alex's father tries to save him, but the poacher shoots him away, and they swerve into a tree which drops the boxed Alex into a river. They drive away not knowing that the baby lion is gone. Now these villains are never seen again, but they do have a significant impact in changing the trajectory of the main character's life, and setting the plot for the second movie. They display cruelty, sadism, and narcissism by kidnapping the baby from his father and endangering his life. Not to mention shooting the dad who tries to save his son from the kidnapping. That is just cruel. Because of their significance in setting a tragic backstory for Alex, I'm gonna give them A tier because I think the origin story is a very creative one and it's executed very well. It displays cruelty and calculation and draws connections to real world events. The acts of animal cruelty that were displayed were truly monstrous, and these villains were very much akin to the real life ones. Even though their appearance is short, I will give them A tier. Chantal Dubois. Chantal Dubois is the famous villain in Madagascar 3. She is the head of animal control, and we see a lot of decapitated heads of animals on the wall, so we know she is a trophy collector. She is a psychopathic animal abuser. In her early childhood, she states she strangled a parrot, flushed a goldfish, and punched a snake. She has a wide range of weapons, and her goal is to hunt down a lion and use their head as a trophy. She is alerted that the animals are breaking into a casino and causing a disruption. She sees Alex the lion, which gets her pretty turned on, and she chases the animals down with their motorcycle. She shoots King Julian with a tranquilizer, and the animals throw a bunch of mud and fish on the road, but she glides through the fish. She gets on the vehicle, but the penguin's gadgets launch her back and she lands on a rooftop. The animals crash their vehicle and land on the roof where a special aircraft is located. Chantal sees them and she chases after them. A monkey shoots a banana gun at Chantal, but she dodges it and slices all the bananas shot at her. Impressively, not one banana stain landed on her, which shows that she is very fast and has great reflexes. She grabs Melman the giraffe and pulls him down. Her strength stalls the entire plane down, but Alex cuts the rope and she drops onto a pool, so you know that Chantal can glide through water with ease. She is very fast, versatile, and adaptable as she can survive almost any chaotic situation. She possesses superhuman strength, I mean she was able to break through walls with ease. She has great survival skills as she dodged a car that almost ran her over. She was also able to dodge many rounds being fired at her. Chantal goes to the plane crash site and investigates the whereabouts of the animals. She finds the footprints of a lion and accurately identifies the weight of the lion and how long ago he escaped. She can hallucinate where the animals are by smelling their scent. She heads to Rome, but she steals a motorcycle, which gets the attention of security, who put handcuffs on her. She manages to shoot 3 security guards with a tranquilizer gun, and the 4th avoids his fate with Chantal's gun jamming. Chantal is in jail, but she escapes by trapping the guards and simply walking out of the door. She finds an article stating that Alex is a fugitive, so she tracks him down in a circus, and as she captures him, the penguins intervene by putting her in a TNT cannon and exploding her ass away. She comes back and tranquilizes the animals for good, even Alex, who she plans to cut the head off. but zookeepers find her and thank her for capturing the animals, so her plans to kill Alex are foiled. So we know that she is very intelligent and cunning. She can make very quick decisions, and her ability to somehow get out of almost every negative circumstance, like a car crash or escaping jail, is honestly impressive. I mean, she escaped jail, was able to duck under a train, and fend off the guards that tried to arrest her. She is very intelligent and can come up with clever ways to outsmart and outmaneuver people. She has great aim as she accurately hits many of her targets. She was able to survive being cannonballed out of the sky with TNT. Chantal plans to cut Alex's head off, but the animals intervene by dropping Chantal Dubois into a fence, where the animals are held captive. Chantal is put in a box and shipped off to an unknown location. Just like Nana, I think Chantal's backstory is also ambiguous and would be fun to explore. She is almost superhumanly athletic. It would be pretty cool to examine all her abilities, skills, and cruelty towards animals. I'm gonna give Chantal Dubois A tier, as while she might be a little bit lacking in terms of personality, she has a wide range of skills and abilities that make her stand out. So here's my ranking. At last place we have the Fusas, 7th place is the tour guide, 6th place is the shark, 5th place is Titsi, 4th place is Makunga, 3rd place is the poachers, 2nd place is Chantal Dubois, and the best villain in my opinion is Nana. That is the official ranking.